Hello, species value nature system. Hello, NFL and MLB, Major League Baseball. Now there is a Anthony Rizzo and in our two Wydell families recorded and confessed involved with a Cololo family, recorded and confessed involved by Bob Chase and others, and by themselves, and involved with a whole bunch of people with New Britain Superior Court, with the Kerr family, and with a DeMoro family, and with the Aiello family, other people associated criminally. I never saw them in the context of Joel, I think only once in life. In other words, I didn't hang around with the Ray Clo who came into my grade in fourth grade. You know, most of the time he hang around with his cousins and friends of theirs, him and Joe DeMoro. And every once in a while they would like call me up with people and they would say, you want to go for a journey? They would smoke weed and we would walk up a mountain or something like that. You know, every once in a while I would see them. And like before I was in classes, they put people, they introduced me to people that way from my grade. Before those people were involved with crime acts and cases, identity theft, crime acts, criminal uses of databases recorded through time. Now that's also important because when I was running, they were harassing me, and last times I was running, which is worse because there were with strangers involved with this pretending other, and these are with medical families criminally involved, and like with the grandfather of a Phil Colon, recorded confessed involved by a Bob Chase, other people involved with courts and prisons and forensics clicks through times criminally involved. Also with on off campuses, crime acts clicks, criminal uses of databases, crime acts roles with fake news, stealing identities, as crime acts roles with proven and further recorded worse than the proven child offenders forced as the leaders of the kids. There's also a house in the corner, on the northern corner of Highcrest Street, that they recorded and confessed involved with them, with Russians criminally involved with a Leahy family. And I don't know all their names. And also a Peruta family. I know their name. I barely know them. They're also recorded and confessed involved with them crimes with fire departments involved with the child offenders further. This is also tied to how we have shared policing on and off the campuses criminally involved, like CCSU, and with fake news crime acts at the national level per CNN, per their crime acts uses of Facebook. This is also a crime method. When I was in eighth grade, they had a Sadie Hawkins dance. They had a girl ask me through them, the people I didn't even know, and this is a person I never met in high school or grammar school. The Kerr family with Jerry Kerr and a Mike Kerr. Jerry Kerr is recorded and confessed involved recently online on Facebook by Jerry Miller and for others before that, recorded and confessed crimes and cases with judges, even female judges, with crimes with child offenders. Now they're ducking behind how they have shared policing and rights to lie that they've been using criminally. In other words, that's involved with houses at the corner. There's houses on Church Street in Old Weathersfield, and then there's a house on the corner of Church Street with a professor I had from the English department, and she's involved with also a whole bunch of other people that were students on and off CCSU, involved with prisons criminally, involved with a Frankie Reese criminally with Weathersfield Police, crime acts against each age of women and men, and crimes with their uses of Saudis for investigators that had crime acts roles on off campuses, and with a serial killer, real or made up. That person is recorded and confessed involved with federal crimes of all kinds of natures with the courts that put him away, with the people in his prison, also recorded with online crimes with Facebook and with child offenders. These are criminal roles with databases and with uses of them in relationship to crime methods using each age of fact treatment nature. They had sexual circles associated with the cliques that in other words, They have different other methods of child abuses, of sexual abuses being coached. Also, like a Leahy family also attached me. They have mental diagnosis where they attach people to forged names of other doctors, attach you to fake conversations with themselves. The whole family working in the triage practically. And the other family members were recorded and confessed criminally involved with identity thefts online, Facebook, crime acts on off campuses and stuff like that, with coroners associated with the Yagman brothers, Mendez police associated with them criminally. These are people criminally with a whole bunch of people associated with Fox CT and with the buildings downtown through time. Now, Ray Cololo, too, the one who's, and the Phil Cololo involved with the, as the family involved with the, well, I'm pretty sure he's recorded tied to a Rizzo family and a Scalora family as his extended relatives. Also with the Phil Cololo, tied to the extended relatives of the Ray Cololo and his sister and family with the child offenders, crime acts rolls with interbranch police through time databases, even when they got arrested. In other words, they're building fake sides. So, in other words, they had some girl ask me to a thing, and then they made all these confessions. And I basically never had a conversation with the girl. Even though we went to some Sadie Hawkins dance or whatever, and that was right around the corner. So if you take a right hand turn at the end of Church Street in Maine, that house right there is involved with it. They had her standing out outside there, and acting, one of the acting teachers, criminally involved, all kinds of ways facilitated to it. Per Frankie Reese, recorded, confessed, involved with the crime acts, narratives, and roles and methods recorded, and natures recorded of Wethersfield police, and of their crime acts roles with various natures of courts, and all tied to them private criminally involved. And that's how they're mixed with other nations. So there are a whole bunch of police forms associated. That was a girl who had a family that owned a Standish house, which is like a house right next there. That's a restaurant. I don't know the name of it now. I don't know if it's the same family. I never met her family. I basically never had a conversation with her, even though we went to the Sadie Hawkins dance. And I barely know that. I never had anything to do with that kid. Didn't even go to my high school for a short period of time. He did just for fact. No, they use that for fact cheating nature rackets because they're pretending things. They pretend I'm a liar when I say things like that, and they can't pretend it on paper because I could prove it. I forgot what else. In other words, but so that's right around the corner. If you take it right on the main street, in other words, then there's a Charlie Bowes. There are Mendez brothers also recorded and confessed involved crimes with these people through time. These are Mendez police. Other police now, when they were kids, they were involved with attaching me to fake locations, fake ties to them, fake conversation with them. They messed up my. They were used criminally to hide what I recorded because I caught them with all kinds of live progressions, with interbranch families, with confessions, demonstrations of their roles with live progressions, and confessions and demonstration of their crimes with interbranch and with overt criminal enterprise juxtaposed originally and still. And that's how they have a whole bunch of nations exploiting that here and there. This was a whole bunch of nations as knaves. They made tribes A through Z, and colonists A through Z, blame the real causes of negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures on other things others themselves. And they were invested by an organized crime method valuing that. So originally and still, we have a nature of sophistication that was never liberated. It is maintained a tool of criminal insidiousness nature through time. There's also, in other words, the Ray Cololo also demonstrated, he kept repeating one time bad things about Charlie Bowes. Like he wanted me to say something bad so he could pretend. Like they just make up things anyways. But now I understand. I didn't understand why he was bringing up that name because I had never seen it. I never had a class with that person. I didn't go watch football games and stuff like that. I didn't even hang around with them usually. Ray Clough and his friends from my grade, that a bunch of them pretended they know me, that I never had conversation with, because they're also recorded, confessed, involved crimes with child offenders, like with Joshua Julian, also with narratives with overt criminal enterprises associated with the branches and with their roles with other nations' family members, like the Russian families, like Puerto Rican families, like cliques with Confederate flag criminally involved with them, with the media, fake news crime acts, identity theft crime acts. These are cliques on off CCSU and on off Trinity College with identity theft crime acts rules, with those sexual circles that were affected when they were kids. I barely know them. Then every once in a while they would come with different people and marijuana, and they would say, "Let's go, Jersey South, go walk hiking." I don't know those people. And then there was their pretend other. There one time it was weird too, because he invited me skiing. Um, uh, Mark Violet. He had a brother. He didn't go. And it was like it was like these are people involved with police criminally, overt criminal enterprise. It was disgusting. But I'm telling you, in other words, these people are rat mobs with abuses of each age of fact cheaping nature, and they're preventing people from free speech. They're recorded with child abuses that are recorded consciously, methodically, sabotaging the integrity of each age of fact treatment nature, preventing them simultaneously inherent active and progressive means of free speech, forcing them to sensibilities to respect criminal elders, criminal experts were associated with them, with delusions wrought and criminal acts and methods and natures recorded, sequence shifts, identity thefts, attaching the little kids and me and others to fake relationships to others. And through time, they do this. They did this in the past to me with courts. I had to write a complaint against a judge. I didn't, if I could do it now, it would have been an extensive complaint, and it would have been all different now. In other words, but so we need a response. They attach each people to. They speak through your family members, and if you go alone, they'll just attach you to fake words. These are sick courts, sick prisons. So also, in other words, with that corner, they were. That was one time, one of the last times I was running. They were at that corner, standing there. The guy with various natures of drug. These also there was a report in the news of a breakout of a prison, and there was like crazy people, and one of the ladies helped the people break out or something like that. And when I saw that, I looked up the prison on Facebook, and was talking to them. Frankie Reese, she's also recorded and confessed involved with them, with the trade center investigators involved with these people, military, foreign, and domestic, attached Saudis to fake positions, fake words, fake natures of relationships to others, sequence shifts rules, as trade center crime acts rules that were facilitated for them. They don't even understand it. With a Scalora family also recorded and confessed involved with interbranch cliques and foreign and domestic in my town, and with Weathersfield police that she confessed to tied Saudis that she's sexually involved with, like a Joe DeMoro, also recorded and confessed involved crimes with the Cololo family, with the rest of the child offenders, like with this Phil Cololo. There's a Dr. Graham involved, who recorded and confessed with other doctors, and a Bob Chase involved criminally with him, with child offenders, with physical delusions, with my name criminally, sequence shifting, having attached me and others to fake conversations, fake relationships to people, fake sequence shift, doing that with kids. They're recorded threatening me with the courts not to report crime acts recorded on the campuses. They use crime methods like making an East Hartford officer who come with Weathersfield police and hand my mother a promise to appear in court. Because I was at campus, I tried to report recorded rape threats and other natures of crimes tied to I didn't even get it to tied to the house of the English team, no, tied to English department, in other words, CCSU, Facebook pages and stuff like that, involved with policing of them on and off campuses through time, criminally involved. Because when I was in grammar school, people made confessions that I didn't understand, and then though they made confessions further, I still didn't understand completely, tied to Lance Cuddy, tied to people associated with all kinds of insidious ways. We know what they do. They know you're going to meet someone. They make people hear other things in the background, make them think you're going to meet them, know that you're going to meet. You don't even know. In other words, they make weird interactions. They're anticipating where each age of fact treatment nature goes. They're abusing each age of fact treatment nature on and off campuses. This was originally from off the ground of education consciously, then consciously knowing that whatever natures of campuses we would build would keep nature would keep demonstrating negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures, and demonstration of it, criminally, tactically, criminally re-engineered nature of science that is actual, always true, and not exploiting exceptions. And that's what is the biggest difference. See, these are people investing people. This is a crime method, investing the natures of each state and areas interbranch to all kinds of abuses of exploitation nature, of exception nature. See, because there is a different kind of truth that is true as all exceptions. And they use lies as fake truth, fake facts, and they use facts attached to lies, in between truths, in other words, used by themselves and per others, multi-front to prevent free speech and just keep the wrong, criminally foreign influenced legal treatments only let realized. Sick devaluing of nature's areas. These are crime rules with what's his name? A social family, a Jen social, a Jim social, Amy social, and those are recorded and confessed crimes with a Spada family, a whole bunch of sisters, as victims, but as victim predators, with a whole bunch of their boyfriends criminally involved. The ones they had at the same time, one of them. And in other words, these are people involved with like shared policing, with on-off CCSU, with foreign and with Florida and stuff like that, drug cliques of all kinds of natures. Sequence shifting, where they use the whole misprision criminality, invested to sequence shifting roles and crimes against other people, because then they have to hide their life progressions, influenced by their interbranch foreign and So there are other businesses with that corner there, like a Old Town Cafe, also recorded and confessed, involved with the people with Trade Center, Washington, crime rolls with police forms and families, like different forms of them, interbranch, involved with that corner criminally. So then one time I'm running there too. One of the last times I was running, this right before I come to the street, the guy goes flying by me with his car. His grandfather of the Red Claw. Then he used to be sitting up at the street with the Wydell brothers. See, there's a Wydell brothers report. I don't know if they're still in the NFL. They have their family members. I think it's their parents associated with the grandfather of the I believe of the Phil Claw too, and of the Claw family that's associated with it. See, the Phil Claw was recorded and confessed by a Bob Chase associated with New Britain Superior Court, and by a whole bunch of other people tied to them, like to this Bob Chase and other people with the police criminally involved with him. And these are also with Mendez police involved with the child offenders further criminally, and with my name. And they attached me to fake recorded things as officers, fake recorded nature's relationship to them, because they were crime rules. Even though I didn't have a class for them, they were crime rules. They should have responded to my filmed project, because I caught them with interbranch corruption. I didn't, I didn't follow through, force them to respond to it. When I was like a freshman or a sophomore, I handed in my video presentation on them because they made all these confessions tied to life progressions that were started when I was in grammar school. And then they were furthered when I was in middle school, but it was subtle. I didn't notice. In other words, they had Ray Colo used to hang around with a Rick Champagnon when I was in high school. I never hung around with them. I never hung around with the people on and off Two Route Highway, Hang Dog Lane, until after they graduated high school. See, then they put a sequence chip to make it look like I knew other. In other words, they had two speech teachers I had criminally involved with it. I mean, I had that were confessed, recorded, criminally involved with a Dillon family and with a police family in my area. Reportedly his partner from the past, and his family members live in my area with other houses criminally involved, and with all natures of like UPS criminally involved through time. Then they exploited that with crime acts at CCSU and Trinity College on off of it with people that I don't even know. People that, and the other ones, they pretended I knew the background. See, they can't pretend anything in paper now. So what they've been doing in the background is being coached to crime acts roles with interbranch police, recorded and confessed by people associated with them, military, foreign, and domestic, criminally associated with it, leading up to the Trade Center attack context. In it, criminally, with a proven sequence shift from inside the Ninth Circuit, Manhattan, proven afterwards. That led up to a 2006 case with former director of the FBI in a district court of Connecticut, with them criminally involved with that, against me and against Saudis too, that they attached to fake positions. They tried to report that. See, these are people attaching everyone to fake words, fake positions. The investigators of everything, because they're a whole bunch of nation sick criminal together through time. See, nations A through Z, colonists A through Z, and tribes A through Z missed what they were all victim predators forced to value, not realizing it. This was sophistication before they were. They knew whatever, excuse me. So now we have DACA. They want to put all this money into trials and things like that. Then what? Billions of dollars is nothing. That's what one of the reasons why it's good to build a wall, because at least you have a lot of reasons, because we have to take a position, and that way is not the position. That's further lethal hadiths. That's further the cause of and has negative value nature, progression, acts in nature. All that money for trials for what? All that money you can bring paradise. You see what I'm saying? We're in zoning laws. We're in a tactically, criminally foreign influence, tactically denatured relationship to nature, specifically to cause negative value nature, progression, acts in nature is blamed on other things, selves, and other people. About things. So, in other words, I looked on that thing. That's the Frankie Reese. These are people involved with on and off CCSU criminal justice, and she's the Frankie Reese also recorded and confessed involved with that criminally with the people associated with the house at the corner of Church and Main. With my English teacher, also recorded and confessed involved, facilitated the crowd to crimes influence to a Cohen. I doubt it's related to that Cohen, but this is through administrations, also associated with like Cubans. Nothing against Cuba. They're victim predators like Puerto Rico, also involved criminally with CCSU, crime acts. And then crime acts and cases relied upon those database crimes, relied upon those natures of interbranch rackets, fakes. Now there's a Jim Socia and a Jen Socia and a Amy Socia recorded confessed involved with crimes with a Chris Walters and with his mother and family associated with Washington D.C. criminally and with Trade Center collects criminally with and they're forging and switching names, and they put they make confessions on Facebook too, and then you don't know who it is because they're all natures of crimes with the police, and you can't report it because if you try to go in, they torture you by attaching you to fake. They switch names, forge names, attach you to fake recorded things before you speak anything. Then they put wire crimes, mail crimes. There's a Leahy family with mail crimes. Attach me to fake conversations. We didn't have a sentence. I don't even have a sentence. Attach me to fake conversations, fake relationships to him and his sons through time. These are people who recorded and confessed involved with the Rick Champillon, who hung out with the Ray Clough and the Joe DeMoro and the interbranch cliques criminally involved growing up. Not with me. After they graduated, they made all these confessions, demonstrations of what, in other words, that I'm knowing now because they're criminally pretending other. They're pretending I knew these people, hung around with these people the way I didn't. They couldn't be honest about how I know people because, in other words, the courts are in the background pretending to believe things that they know aren't true. And they're pretending to believe things that people are bad. They're pretending to believe things that people, in other words, these are mentally incompetent people, and they know that. They know they're dishonest creeps, interbranch. And this is recorded. They'll lie about it. That's recorded too. That's why we need them to pick one name in sequence. And they need to stop playing games with all the nation's shared policing sick with the database crimes, with the confessions they use criminally. They're using each age of girls as little punk tools, especially the sick ones, like with areas maintained tactically pseudo-educated. And worse, they're tortured. There's a reason there's so many shootings on in Hartford North End, and they blame it on mental diagnosed. These are people that are involved with all kinds of abuses of kids at each age, especially in the North End of town, sickly distinctly in each nature of city, specifically to hide how not, sickly non-distinctly. This maintained through time. See, now that was raised Mendez brothers and I forgot their names. Other people associated with Fox Connecticut News, and a whole bunch of people associated with the clubs downtown, in the buildings downtown, involved with identity theft crime acts. They time where you're going to be, and they make people pretend things to because they know they time where girls are going to be and stuff like that. That's how they keep little fakes, like the creepiest people, you know, with the emotions of others, fake. They can't even defend themselves on paper. So they're forging names and switching names into branch through time. Since I was a kid, they sustain a method that is preventing each age of fact-cheating nature from appreciating their simultaneously inherent active and progressive means to correlation as correlation natures. They're consciously making valued fake sides of fact-cheating nature, fake middles, physical delusions juxtaposed with their criminal foreign influences, criminal roles with DACA. There's a DACA marketing program recorded and confessed with a whole bunch of people criminally involved, with fire departments, with foreign and domestic involved, Russians, with the Fox Connecticut News, recorded, confessed, and demonstrating, torturing me and others, stealing our identities not to say anything about their confessed and recorded crimes with Russians, facilitated fake conversations with me, with these two Mendez police forging and faking things recorded into databases as evidence crime acts roles in cases. They're presenting their falsified police reports with courts. They're all one-way reports. They're witness fabrication rackets. There are all kinds of evidence crime roles, sequence shifts, rules crimes. It is serious stuff. Then fake Fox News steals my identity to fake conversations with them, fake both sides of stories, especially WFSB. They're also recorded with a Fazina family. Also recorded confessed crimes with the club, with the owners of a building, with associated criminally with the cliques with the campuses criminally. And like a Charlie Balls, I never had anything to do in my life. His sister recorded, confessed, involved with the police forms, foreign and domestic, and associated with the Washington and Justice Department Trade Center cliques, crime acts cliques, foreign and domestic, with an Old Town Cafe. I never had a conversation with her in my life except about that through a Chris Walters who called me down there and make all these confessions in a row, confirmed by a Ken, semi-confirmed by non-verbally confirmed by a Ken associated with Mobile Gas Station. Eric Jensen recorded and confessed involved with them too. Crimes with people associated with state police and his family, and with federal criminals associated with a whole bunch of his and his friends, with identity theft cliques with them, and with defendants of former director of the FBI, and leading up to other cases, and then in a 2006 case, and they were already criminally involved in that, and then since. And those were people that were facilitated the crime acts roles with a proven sequence shift affected from inside the Ninth Circuit Trade Center attack context. That proven led to defendant, former director of the FBI, eyewitness with others in a district court case in Connecticut. And the news companies and stuff like that also recorded and confessed involved with all kinds of insidious, like there's a whole bunch of people with the name Joe DeMora and Tony DeMora and his sister involved, a whole bunch of people with the name Kerr involved with girls I don't know the name of, associated with Trinity College, and Joshua Stryker. I never saw him in the same place at the same time. Also recorded and confessed involved crimes with Eric Oliveri and UPS. Before I went to work there, they confirmed it. These are people, crime acts roles on off CCSU, on off Trinity College connected, facilitated, connected for them. They're using databases criminally, using means to affect the standing criminal and seriousness natures to roles valuing and needing crime methods maintain manifest because of that. All victim predators originally and still. Then they want to pretend they're positive. They want to stay positive the same way that little kids need to be positive. They don't let them because they can't pretend they're positive with the stewardships of the little kids. Not by accident, through time, that they're switching the natures of child abuse. In other words, and maintaining isolated the kids with off campuses maintained crime acts roles with the overt criminal enterprises, with other natures of uncharged, originally still maintain mass manifest all kinds of natures of victim predators. In other words, intercity, the locations around the campus of the colleges and of the grammar schools and of this middle school, further recorded and confessed criminally involved. Businesses next to it, next to the Hartford Hospital's campus, recorded and confessed with Fox Connecticut News, with crimes with Los Salitos with them, and with those spots, especially near Fox Connecticut News, with the, near the end of Franklin Avenue, Broad Street, we're next to with that part of the all around the Hartford Hospital. There are a bunch of untimely deaths around the time of the one recorded on the campus of Trinity College, which was also tied to the people associated with my new and past neighbors, recorded and confessed criminally involved with people associated crimes with the Dillon family, foreign and domestic military crimes acts with them through time, identity crime acts with these cliques. Now, so they won't, in other words, when you have the courts are with crime methods, forging and switching names and pretending other, and they know that. There was all kinds of federal crimes with evidences, federal rules crimes, federal, rules crimes, sequence shifts, forging names, switching names, little evidence crime fabrications, putting me and other people and little kids tied to fake relationships to others that never were. Spreading lies with overt criminal enterprises recorded through time, proven and further recorded and confessed and demonstrated involved with our interbranch rap mobs, their drug cliques and stuff like that. Also with and as doctors associated with their whole families criminally involved with them through time. Attached me to fake conversations about my family members. They pretended I said that police were surveilling my father. They pretended I talked about the CIA. They were directing people online. They were influencing people online to pretend I had conversations with them about the CIA. They have mental diagnosis that they have. They pretend that they have schizophrenia that they pretend people have. And then if you mention they dishonestly, because these are people who need to hide their life progressions, need to hide their recorded crime acts, roles, and natures growing up because they're victim predators. So in other words, they know they have no credibility with various natures of courts, with their state judicial branch offices on and off of it, on and off the houses next to it criminally used already, on and off the state prison offices with the DiCiaccio family, and with also facilitated the crime acts roles with the police forms in my area, associated with this Dillon family, also criminally involved. Anna Dillon, a Sean Dillon, and a Kevin Dillon, recorded and confessed involved criminally, also with the town offices and with Weathersfield Police Department interbranch through time. These are people that put in not only streams of court, people go to court every day. The judges later are sick the way they were originally. Here and there, those nations aren't. We just lost last to it. It's only the benefit of America. Every nation was a quality of fact treatment nature that was valuing originally, and still originally they were valuing how we are a nature of volume, individual. Each individual is simultaneously a sex, which simultaneously a grouped nature of volume, simultaneously grouped as a species nature of volume too. And those three have a simultaneous nature of relationship, as the Trinity does, as the value nature relationship it has to itself, as value nature, the Trinity. And that as what really is connecting why we have cells of our bodies, why plants have cells, why body of value discernment is manifest. Because everything is in demonstration of this nature of this body of value, this nature of body of value discernment, which is invisible but still discernible using science. This is about the invention, the science, the science that in other words, the identity that inventions work or not in relationship to. So it's invisible, but it's still discernible. This is about how inventions are still also positive or negative further in relationship to. This is about the value of the Trinity's value nature relationship to itself. Simultaneously, distinctly and non-distinctly, value as nature and nature as value, and that onto and as the value of each nature of our Trinity of correlation nature, our nature of volume. And so Jesus Christ is revealed to teach this, but this is about sciences that were criminally foreign influenced. You have to understand what and how American history and ancient history as semi-ancient history as an organized crime conversation. The nature of sciences were criminally re-engineered. The campus Marcius was criminally re-engineered before modern nations were realized about this. Preserving means to understand this. God, as a concept, it came from English with value G. Probably other language. In other words, and tied to Allah's name, because the identity of everything is distinct from the value G from God that was used for an algebraic method of discerning the identity and the identity of relationship to itself that our nature has. Again, as three natures of volume that are either positive or negative as a quality of diffusion in relationship to the identity that inventions work or not in relationship to. People are healthy or not in relationship to. And what keeps us healthy is further positive or negative or not, just like inventions. See, but we have effectively criminally denatured and valued that way sciences. natures of positive as criminal insidiousness nature. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a police, I'm not criminal. So, in other words, also all the way up that street, there's a mobile gas station. So we go past the Old Town Cafe now with those people involved. And there was all that crazy stuff in the prison, and then that Frankie Reese that's involved with the crazy people involved with the prisons with child offenders and with criminal uses of Saudis, and roles with Weathersfield Police with that, because there are roles with other natures of police, criminal uses in my area, families associated with it. So there's a Rizzo family also recorded confessed by a Kerr family and others involved with the child crimes, and with the grandfather up the street of the person with the cousin tied to the Phil Clo, with the further courts and doctors and natures of police forms that recorded and confessed him and further involved with the child offenders, further involved with identity theft crime acts with me and with Mendez police, attaching me to fake relationships to themselves and to this Phil Clo through time, fake words. They pretended things recorded by police equipment put me into fake conversations with themselves because they need to pretend to know me, and they can't be honest about how they know me in the only context that they know me from. In other words, they don't know me, and they were crime acts roles of all kinds of natures of federal crimes. They hid what I reported from this is involved with people who didn't even go to my school who were involved with the identity theft crime acts, covering up lie progressions started in grammar school by a mayor's daughter, and by interbranch detectives with an as a O'Brien family. These are also people crime acts roles with Sandy Hook, with the child offenders criminal uses of databases, interbranch again also with the Phil Clo, and that's a house across the street. I don't know if they're still there or not. Also across the street, they're also recording confessed involved drug crimes with foreign and domestic, like Asian nations and stuff like that with psychology, foreign and domestic intercity involved, criminally involved. There's some kind of shared way they have policing of malls criminally involved with identity theft rackets, with the news criminally involved. WFSB recorded and confessed involved crimes with fire departments, elderly homes, West Farms Mall, campuses, child sex offenders, other natures of child offenders proven and further recorded, other drug offenders with the kids, uses of that. They have uses of the types of marijuana also used criminally. And these are people with database crimes as a common theme too, and their time identity of the ground. So I'm running too. Then he's sitting there, and it looked like it was Tim O'Brien was dressed as a girl. I didn't look too close. I kept jogging, and that's also with John Maiano's brother was pretending he knew me before I only barely know him. He's recorded and confessed involved sequence shifts with his brother John Maiano, his other brother I don't even know, and his family members extended intercity and through time involved crime acts roles also with people associated with the Fred Grisey. I never saw him in the same. Fred Grisey didn't go to my school, but he was in front of my school, and he was recorded and confessed involved with the crimes with the people with the foreign and domestic identity thefts, crimes with judges that they bring you to court, you're not allowed to talk, and they just keep it. They pretend you did things. They pretend they're upset about things that they're making up against young kids. They're faking passions and emotions. They're faking righteous aggression. They're faking care, and they're insidiously using databases and having had that value. That's what keeps them needing to hide lie progressions, needing to hide their actually recorded natures, needing to value how we have a whole bunch of sick nations fake and forced per statutes to hide that. But see, but they're not really hiding it. And they're just roles with crime. These are also people recorded confessed crime acts roles with the family members of and the persons of federal criminal co-defendants, a former director of the FBI, leading up to, and then as natures of crime acts roles facilitated in the Trade Center attack context, with the proven sequence shift affected from inside the court associated with those federal criminals, and then that proven led to a 2006 case with the former director of the FBI and those families and their kids involved crime acts roles on and off CCSU, on and off Trinity College, and then leading up to the 2006 case and then in it criminally, and then leading up to other cases in them criminally, criminal uses of Facebook through time, criminal uses of YouTube through time. They forge names, switch names. Then you can't report those things when those interbranch families are using YouTube and Facebook to steal my identity. Pretend that to you they use the fake news that attached me to fake communications with WFSB that were already recorded in all natures of crime acts roles with the Fianza family against me and other people in my family and against other people in other families, other even kids with men and women also associated with Rock Hill Athletic Center, other people, other places associated with the businesses around WFSB criminally involved. These are friends and family also involved with the people with the buildings downtown criminally with the identity theft clicks, with the crimes with the drugs with the kids and with the databases growing up, and with their crimes with directing, the people that are associated with databases to put lies about kids into databases. They were obligated by the law to respond to what I recorded with them with drug crimes with the kids, selling drugs on and off campuses with people that didn't even go to my school. Those are the people that his friends were, like a Rick Champfillon. And he hung around with the kid, my neighbor. I never saw them hanging around together when I was in high school. After he graduated, he went to Central. He called me up there one time to make confessions that he was involved with drug crimes with a little kid. What's his name? Kyle Gill. His family members on off CCSU involved criminally with other little kids criminally with drugs, with identity theft clicks, with like a whole bunch of people associated on off criminal CCSU with criminal justice criminally, with a Subby Bajeri, who I barely know, woman tied to her, associated with identity thefts with the kid that they grew up that recorded, confessed, and demonstrated, recorded, used criminally for all kinds of natures and stuff after they abused him since he was a kid. Recorded and confessed. He confessed it true. It was confessed and recorded and demonstrated by other people when I was still in high school. Because I stayed back. Rick went there. I never had anything to do with Rick the entire time he was in high school. He was in my 8th grade class. He's like a simpleton. He's not even like, and they let him go. And he guy stole my poem too, because these people are influenced to it. Also with a Pandolf family, with criminal justice racket natures, with identity theft clicks, and with houses, on and off the middle school, on and off the high school, criminally involved together, on and off the grammar schools, criminally involved together. They had me go to one of the other grammar schools in town called like the Pearl of Weathersfield. I forgot the name of it. I think it's Charles Wright. And so for a middle school class, but instead of having me having anyone that had been in my class with the Neville guy, also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with interbranch rackets with the Weathersfield Country Club, and with their roles with overt criminal enterprise, other nations, families sickly involved, medical families criminally involved, fire departments criminally involved, all kinds of rackets. So then we go further up the street from the Old Town Cafe, and that mobile. Before I ever went to work there, recorded, confessed, involved with people involved with crimes of all natures with the federal criminal co-defendants of former director of the FBI, and with the other mobile on the South State Highway too, on Town Line Drive. You go up that street further, then you come to the Samuel Dix house. Whole bunch of houses around there, like with Mike Pandolf, his brothers and family, involved with they repeated confessed, like I forgot the name of a Pelican Place, and places near, these are people involved with the Fox Connecticut News, criminally involved police forms. The Main brothers, their family members, recorded, confessed, involved with the sequence shifts and all natures of crimes with the Mayano family. Also recorded, confessed, involved criminally with fake news crime acts, with interbranch drug clicks. And he, one of the women, Christine Bedard / Tardet, and a woman that used to go out with Joe Lombardo, and his family members recorded, confessed with the drugs crimes, with the houses next to the schools, and with the ones that didn't go to my school, as people who went to private schools, and that was with Chris Walters, who went to private school, but they had him come across the parking lot only once in a while and come into my science class. I didn't even know how. I didn't know how he got in there. I just knew it was some kid that recognized me from Tiger Cubs, which he wouldn't even have done unless he was directed to. Who's going to remember someone like that? And this way he explained that to me. How would he know I was in that class and to come into that class? He making it look like it was an accident. This was a person recorded, confessed, and demonstrated criminally involved with his Kerr family and with the judges. And those are the people with the DeMauro family, intercities. And these are people that were facilitated then with others I don't even know, who made confessions about CCSU out of nowhere, tied to how that I was called to the office. They knew I was going to walk to this path to the cafeteria. And then someone they make loaded statements to me, make confessions to me that I don't even understand. You see, what they do that for is to make other people think that you understand that. In other words, they're lying to whole groups. They're abusing whole groups the same way it's easy to abuse kids individually. They're doing the same thing to the whole groups, and they're exploiting whatever was tied to the corner of Highcrest, the northern corner, and with their roles with a whole bunch of confessions tied to Russians criminally involved with that, and the drug clicks involved with the sources of WFSB criminally involved with that corner, and with the identity theft crime acts with them, and crime acts in cases, and with federal rules crimes, federal evidence crimes. They're preventing free speech. They're stealing our free speech, and they're pretending not to realize criminally. They never had a conversation with me, and they sequence shifted, and they won't fix their fake news crime acts rules. You saw me on YouTube call them on the phone. They're sick fakes. CCT breaks. You need to get the names of the judges because they're forging and switching names and sequences. These are various natures of courts involved criminally interstate too. And worse than interstate, because these are also trade center investigators, crime acts roles, other natures of federal police criminally involved with this Leahy family, with their federal crime acts, and crime acts roles with a Rick Sanfayon confessed, demonstrated, recorded identity theft crime acts roles with this Cololo family that they grew up hanging out with, doing drugs with. I didn't know them until after he graduated high school. They had the sequence shift. Also, a Maria Vizino and a John Mayano pretended I knew them before I did. I don't even think I saw John Mayano before my actual class graduated. I never saw, and never even knew about Maria Vizino. But before, she sought me out because she was involved with a Spada family, also recorded and confessed involved with judges criminally involved, and with various natures of police forms, overt criminal enterprises, and with police shootings recently tied to that, like a Chris White, who was involved with identity thefts and crimes with this Jen Socia or Jennifer Socia and Amy Socia, and with this Jim Socia, criminally involved with police forms on off CCSU, Paul Manafort Drive, with a whole bunch of other people. I think a CJ is also recorded and confessed involved with crimes with a modern pastry, with a Fred Grisey recorded, confessed involved. Through him and through his crimes with a Leahy family and with KKK themed. That's why I did the report on it too, because it was KKK themed, and they were with insidious confessions and timed like out of nowhere. Then they would appear, and progressively make confessions. Then this person's in my class. You know what I'm saying? They were using the time location of where people walk in relationship to databases. Now the class is going to end. They're going to have these people walking. Everyone's already going to be sitting at tables. So you're going to end up in a trap. Therefore, I rap. Mike Roberts also recorded and confessed involved with the crimes with the police chief's family. Intercities, interstates. With this Jensen family, also involved with state police and with the federal criminals criminally involved as the co-defendants of former director of the FBI. The daughter of one that was in my grade involved criminally with them, facilitated the crime acts rules. I only walked by her for 1 second, never had anything to do with her. That's also recorded and confessed involved with a Heather Hansen, who was in part of the sexual circles and the drug cliques that were involved with the criminal uses of that street, Church Street, and those people that associated with that. In other words, there's all kind of police forms associated with that corner of Church Street, and with this Old Town Cafe, also with judges and the rap mob police, originally and still sick, especially with the north end of Hartford, per the same crime method that's been abusing each age of fact, cheaping nature intercity. These are fakes with pretended care for against prejudice, black and white female judges with child offenders that are also crime acts rolled with Confederate flag, with CCSU, with the crime acts with criminal uses of their fake news. They used to hide their live progressions and their actually recorded natures and their federal rules crimes and their sequence shifts and in cases and in databases leading up to them criminally. They're forging and switching names on Wethersfield police. Their crime acts roles forcing them denied as roles needing to hide it by keep torturing little kids, investigating what they're not asking the right questions on purpose for, because it's recorded. So we need a response. And the schools are being directed to not let complaints about the kids recorded being abused by me, because they lied about me already. They locked them, they painted themselves into corners. They have rape threats online, Facebook, criminal uses of their Facebook for sexual harassment of each age of fact cheating nature, and criminal uses of their campus Facebook pages. Wethersfield police are recorded and confessed a whole bunch of natures of crime acts roles with Local 230, with other nations too. See, with the policing of then all kinds of natures of crimes with Local 230 and on and off their job sites roles, criminally involved with the campuses, recorded criminally involved with Dr. Graham recorded and confessed crimes with judges associated with the Southstein Middle School, further with federal crimes against me and against kids with that school, and with buildings and houses next to it criminally involved with them. They also recorded and confessed federal crimes with a Phil Claw, who pretended to know me through time, with the rest of the extended family members of the family of the Ray Claw in my area. See, they need to pretend I knew them when in context I didn't. I only knew them once in a while. I never hung around with them and the people on Two Rod Highway and Hangdog Lane, and where Two Rod Highway also goes into the Burlington Turnpike. And with him and his cousins, I never hung around with them. I didn't, his cousins pretended to know me too. The Scaloras also he said they were their cousins. The Morrow family said they were their cousins too. And these are like, it's disgusting. They're also recorded confessed crimes with this, with the DACA associated with Mike Roberts also, and this is through time. We have sick fakes with shared policing of our nations. You see, they want to put all that money into criminal justice and trials for what? Rather than even, if you even hold that money up, people are going to, for free, could build better than what we have now. Recorded valuing what was forced with the fact cheap nature slavery of our founders. If you build any bigger, that's it. They hurt you and your family, killed everyone, made examples of you. If you were found out even speaking about building infrastructure out of internation monitored database relationships, and note that and how it was database relationships that I learned in CCSU. Those database relationships are tied to the identity of the ground. Uses of these are perfected criminal foreign influence, maintain self-value roles with fake sides. When I was a kid, I threw a dart one time when I met the cousin of one of the Joe DeMoro. I threw a dart at because we were looking at stocks. So I threw a dart and I said, find the smallest stock. There was 1/16th, and it was DACA. I don't know if it was the same one. Years later, that was $24 something a share. So 24 times 16. It was 6 times 4 is 24. So 2, put the 4 over the, forgot the numbers now. Over the 2. It's a lot. It's a lot. I'm not good at math. I'm in English. But English is about, so I'm so good at English because about the nature of the English. I'm expert in the nature. People know terms for linguistics or whatever like that. This modifies that. I understand the nature of English grammar, and it's how we are 3 natures of volume, and how English is being obfuscated specifically so we don't understand things like how and why the predicate is simultaneously value distinctly and non-distinctly in relationship to the same identity of value that the predicate is value in relationship to, which is the reason the predicate is value of English is because its relationship to identity natures, course. The reason the predicate act is value with the law, not even a lawyer, because it is relationship to identity natures, course, which is criminal insidious nature if you're the actor of a predicate act, or if you're an actor hiding predicate acts, like the ones associated with the Trade Center attack context, with the sick fakes off the campuses. And what motivates them to that is their uses of investigators, the foreign and domestic plainclothes. They influence people. There's a Eric Burgess recorded and confessed, and is a Justin Levinsky recorded and confessed involved with crimes with military police, involved with crimes of people on and off CCSU and other campuses through time, associated with West Farms Mall criminally, with the policing of the stores near the serial killer body dumping spot, who's also recorded federal crimes with people associated with them, interbranch crime acts and medical crime acts, also with foreign, also criminally involved with them with other body dumping spots, like the body dumping spot of Billy Grasso, criminal uses of the witness protection program tied to that. Their crime acts roles with these families involved with the rest of the child offenders involved through time, criminally involved with forensics place, like this Phil Colella. So at the end of the street, across the street from there's an O'Brien family also involved with Sandy Hook crimes with kids intercities. and medical corruption is criminally involved with the database crimes. And in other words, the investigators of Sandy Hook are also criminally involved with that. Criminal uses of the victims, real or made up. Then they have the victims suing that guy because he keeps saying they're not real. You know, I'm not going to keep saying that, but I'll tell you right now, they're recorded being criminally used. That's recorded. That's recorded. And we have the victims being coached by sick natures of medical people, recorded delusions wrought and criminally foreign influence, and using them that way, including the uses of the victims of the Trade Center associated with this, like a Keene family, recorded and confessed, involved crimes facilitated with the DeMoro family. They shared this Hanson girl, and her brothers involved criminally with drugs and stuff like that, with kids, doctors, drugs, and foreign and domestic drugs. These are people also involved. You know, so then they have all those places that they have a video with the Los Solitos, and they're like glorifying a spot which is right near the end of Franklin Avenue and Broad Street, which is right next to Hartford Hospital. And see, these are people involved with the judges and the drug cliques and the doctors associated with that. Their family members, a whole bunch of family members of fire departments, criminally involved with child sex offenders. The mother of one involved with another one that was involved with their patients, criminally involved with the child sex offender. I mean, with the doctors, criminally involved with their patients with such things, as recorded, as the ones that attached me to fake conversations that weren't at all, as the ones that were telling people to pretend things about me online, pretend conversations with me, like associated with criminally with the police forms in my area, and with the D. Simone family also recorded and confessed crimes with doctors associated with a Leahy family and with their roles with a Yagaman family, also with Mendez police, criminally involved with Fox CT, crime acts roles, criminal uses of the buildings downtown, identity theft, crime acts roles. This Rick Sanfayone identity theft, crime acts roles, sequence shifts against me with a whole bunch of people on off CCDS through time. You see, they put they put him in my middle school class. He sat across. I sat down like the front row, opposite side of him. I sat near the door. He sat in the front row, right in front of the teacher. We had no conversations the whole time. And then, I never saw him outside of class or anything. I don't even know there was. I don't know where that was. That was middle school, and that was the only time I ever saw him. I never had a class with him or anything. And then he would. Then instead of putting him in the middle school in the summer school class, they put me in the summer school class. Stole my poem, which is better than everyone else's, for what I saw. I never got that back too. With this Neville guy, also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with the rest of the criminals associated with the Wethersfield Country Club. Criminals as interbranch rackets and foreign and domestic and overt criminal enterprises. And that's mixed with them pretending to be criminal enterprises together, whatever. They're really crime predicate acts roles with them. They're really sequence shifts inside of cases. All kind of evidences crimes, rules crimes, identity theft crime acts, tortures, free speech prevention, free speech thefts, property crimes. This O'Brien family lives across the street from the Wydell family that is associated with the old man and with his family members, and with their extended family members' roles with his Phil Collo, involved crimes intercity with them through time. And with these Mendez police too. See, these are people when I was running, doing those things, sitting outside in front of the thing, then timing it. I run by the Alex Mayano, begging me to take him to they're involved with all kinds of criminal uses of the boxing gyms with all kinds of criminal justice racket rules. Make sure that Alex Miano doesn't ever pretend that he knows me from any conversation that I was. In other words, I never had anything to do with him. The only context I had anything to do with him, I told him, don't ever pretend you knew me before this. Because him and his brother were sequence shifts. I didn't understand that first. And his brother was, in other words, pretending he met me before he did. These are people that were friends with the person in my area who came into my grade when I was in fourth grade. And then the person that, I don't know if he was in my class real or just part of the time, because I only remember part of it, Joe DeMoro, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated, facilitated the crimes with them with an O'Brien family. I don't know if they hung around, what they did, because I didn't hang around with these people most of the time. Only once in a while, real short, I would hang around with them. They also, when I was still forced to stay back, they called me to go to a skiing trip with a Middlesex Community College they were with. They did that. I wasn't even going there. In other words, they did that because to make it look like I knew them. In other words, I never had anything to do with those people, and the only exceptions they couldn't be honest about, because these are also people involved, facilitated the crime act roles with the co-defendants of former director of the FBI, also with their family members. I believe his name is Dominic Labria. With the Dearborn Street in Newington, where the Eric Jensen lived when he was going to my street, my high school class, and Weathersfield High School. But he was living in Newington. He was reported and confessed involved, now demonstrated with identity thefts, spreading lies categorically, sequentially, with houses in my area that then became involved. They're facilitated the sensibilities that never had a conversation with me. They need to pretend other in the background. There's the media interbranch predators involve houses around the pond with the sensibilities of people's. There's a house near that was reported in the news that was complaining about people going by the front of her house. She's recorded, confessed, involved with them, pretending, setting traps up, pretending not to realize by offensive pretending things, vaccines. So what we need to do, so then you keep going up in the Samuel Dick's house and houses around that, like the Yagman, they're recorded, confessed with Eric Jensen. Also, they were involved with crimes with houses on the street that I never had anything to do with. And Eric Jensen said because he got, like, there was I guess it was a police form or something associated with a daughter that was ugly and no one wanted to sleep with her. So if he slept with her, they got him other girls to sleep with. In other words, what they did was lie to each girl. But this is with a method that they're keeping each age of fact, cheap in nature, abused as a group. The same way you can abuse an individual, they're abusing whole groups, misprision, and they're pretending it's only about whatever they pretend. They have no integrity. They have evil originally instilled. Okay, so thank you.